So, you're here in search of a good starter weapon with which to play Dark Souls Remastered and not have a hard time. Maybe it's your first time and you want to do some research beforehand, or you're a returning player looking for a weapon to make quick work of the early game. Or, you're here to play a more satisfying build. Whatever it may be, you came here for a solution. And hey, I won't keep from you my golden secrets. It's the Zweihander. Yeah, I'm very biased. I love big swords. This is Dark Souls at the end of the day, fellas. There's a fucking knight on the cover. Now wait, hear me out. I know it's an ultra great sword. Overrated, right? But this sword is a godsend. You could potentially progress the entire game with this one sword and never have to worry about not dealing enough damage again.
I gotta be extra careful here, but they coming now and shit.
Now, I'm not a magic user. I'm more of the a knight will see you teleport and say, he cannot afford a steed kind of guy. If I'm not swinging a big sword, I'm bored kind of guy. I love swords. I love beating the shit out of things as a knight and seeing the health bar absolutely disappear. So, let's get you, my friends, situated on trying this sword out for yourself and becoming a knight in shining armor for the nearest firekeeper in your area. Fun fact, do not use the firekeeper soul in the undead parish for souls. Use that to reinforce your Estus flasks. I fucked up. That's what I did. So, if you want to try it out for yourself, well, my friends, this sword is as easy as hitting the play button on Steam. Assuming you've already made your way out of the Northern Undead Asylum, or if you've already started a playthrough, you have to make sure you're in the Firelink Shrine. Now, from the bonfire, you want to make your way up to the pool of water where the serpent may or may not be, and take a left beneath the crow and through an archway that leads down to a graveyard. Following the path through the graveyard and against the skeletons that reside here, on a giant tombstone in the distance, and guarded by several more skeletons and giant skeletons, resides the Zweihander. Placed there maybe as a memory for a fallen warrior. We're here to pillage it though. Now, the Zweihander has the following important stats. It requires a strength of 24 and dexterity of 10. Now this means that to wield the Zweihander one-handed or two-handed, you need your dexterity to be 10. However, if your strength is less than 24, not to worry. Two-handing a weapon increases your strength by 1.5. Therefore, you only need a strength of 16 to be able to start using the Zweihander and turning your enemies into a very fine red paste. Once you reach level 24, well, it's free reign from there.
Oh my fucking god, this is lit. Watch this.
And you can start fooling around with shields or dual-wielding weapons. Now, no matter what class you choose, the lowest dexterity you can have is 9, so that's an easy fix. And the lowest strength you can have is also 9, so that's 7 more levels until two-handing the weapon. Which can happen surprisingly fast due to the souls dropped from the Asylum Demon and soul farming the skeletons within the graveyard. In my first playthrough, which I'm currently still going through.
Oh wow, for some reason that worked. Oh! I fell into the water. Okay, that's it for me tonight, baby.
The Zweihander was a godsend.
Fuck, they see me. I'm about to chalk you the fuck up, son.
Not only did it make certain parts of the game easy, but it gave me a level playing field with which to challenge myself and not feel absolute defeat. The damage is a 130, which absolutely atomizes the abhorrent and annoying enemies littering the level, which you'd rather not want to deal with when running around the map or running to the boss rooms again and again.
What?
But it makes boss fights feel achievable, even when you lose.
And he does with the.
I didn't know this sword existed, so I got to the Firelink Shrine and began my journey with a shield and a broadsword. I was having a hard time with the undead soldiers, I'll tell you what. However, a friend mentioned to me that I could find an exceptional sword just behind the Firelink Shrine in the graveyard. And man, I wish I'd found it sooner. This weapon, without any upgrades, was so good that it helped carry me through, even to the Gaping Dragon.
Yes, the same!
However, if you do get the chance to upgrade it as soon as possible, you should. Right from the beginning. Just a little ways into the Undead Parish, you can find yourself meeting Andre of Astora in the old church before Set's Fortress, who can do regular upgrades on your Zweihander to get it to +5 and bring its damage up to 195. And without too much work, you can obtain the Large Ember when first entering the depths, found just behind the first butcher in the kitchen. and bring your Zweihander to a whopping 260 damage. That's the plus 10 upgrade. Getting the very large ember it's a little tougher, but in a fairly short time you can farm for souls, whoop bosses' asses with the plus 5 Zweihander, and then get it to plus 10 without a worry, and have it scaling in such a way that it can quickly and effectively make work of almost any formidable foe. Now, fun fact, the Zweihander is not just some weapon in Dark Souls. Despite Dark Souls' never-ending vague lore, the Zweihander is a weapon that dates back to the 16th century and was used widely by the Swiss and the Germans. It is a double-edged, straight-blade sword with a two-handed cruciform hilt with pommel. It was the hallmark weapon of the, Landsknecht? I don't know, which were German mercenaries. Despite being manufactured as a longsword, it was traditionally used as more of a polearm due to its weight and length, which I think is pretty cool. The Zweihander, nearing the end of the 16th century, became a representation of the final stages of making very large swords, which look comical sometimes, but they do pack a punch. Such a punch, in fact, that there is a museum in the Netherlands called the Fries Museum, in which they house the sword of a Frisian hero called Pierre Gerlofs Dunja, who was reputed to wield a Zweihander with such skill, efficiency, and strength that he was able to behead several people with a single blow. This sword of his, which is displayed in the museum, is 213 centimeters long and weighs about 6.6 kilograms, or 15 pounds. It's pretty impressive, I won't lie. But anyways, I had a stinky time up until the Zweihander, so I thought I would give you chumps starting out in Dark Souls Remastered a fighting chance, and a reason to keep whooping ass in there, instead of hitting the uninstall button. Don't give up, fellas. I hope you guys liked the little video. I'll be working on more videos like this every now and then on practically any game that I stream, so stay tuned. I'll see you fellas around for more Dark Souls videos and videos on other games. No more Payday 2 or Metro Exodus for a very long time. I'll let those collect dust for now. Alright, bye. See you later.